Joining me on this number, please welcome John Elliot.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
And so it came to pass that the three wise men came westward from the four corners across the painted desert and saw the bright neon star illuminating the sky high above the Tropicana Hotel and Casino in Laughlin, Nevada. I am not making this up.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you.
The three wise men had been locked inside a self-storage bin in a suburban town east of where the king was born. No one had visited them in nearly a year, and cobwebs and dust were already taking over the storage bin. Nonetheless, they had been released, and their first destination was to the city where the king was born. I am talking, of course, about Tupelo, Mississippi.
Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you?
My mother loved Christmas. She made new Christmas ornaments every year for as long as I can recall. And I was a kid, the one I remember best were the three wise men. They were made of strips of old rags, wheat pasted around quart-sized 7-Up, Dr. Pepper, and Cheerwine bottles. They were painted with Byzantine robes with kite strings for beard. The Prel shampoo bottle, shiny yellow cap, was used as a jewel in one of the crowns, and the chest containing the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh were made from the red plastic hotel from a Monopoly set.
We three kings of Orient are bearing gifts, we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star.
In the time of King Herod, the Magi came to Jerusalem to ask where the king had been born. They had seen the star rise, which foretold of his coming, and Herod called to his scribes and astrologers into council, and it was concluded that he was born in Bethlehem of Judea. And the three wise men were sent by Herod with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and most importantly, instructions to return and tell Herod the exact location of his birth. In short, the three wise men were spies.
Star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
My mother passed in February, and at Thanksgiving I returned to my hometown of Stone Mountain, Georgia, to plant a dogwood tree in her honor. And while I was there, I decided to look through more boxes stacked inside the storage bin in search of treasures, the vestiges of a life now enshrined in Ziploc baggies and neatly folded into Tupperware containers, awaiting their fate to be decided by their heirs. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Afterlife. And I opened the red and green Tupperware container, and the profusion of childhood memories rose like the dough of my first Chef Boyardee pizza. And the memory of my mother turning that red plastic Monopoly piece into a treasure chest, and Elmer's gluing it into the hands of a Dr. Pepper bottle, transforming the mundane into holy works of art, called to me. It was simple. The wise men must join me on my journey. When the wise men found the Holy Family, they did indeed present the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But more importantly, upon their arrival to Bethlehem on the 12th day of Christmas, thus launching the very first Mardi Gras season, the Magi had an epiphany. And much like the former slave trader John Newton writing Amazing Grace, as he turned his slave ship around and set his captive cargo free, the three kings had a change of heart, and they warned the Holy Family of Herod's intent to kill this potential threat to his power. It is known as the Epiphany.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see.
Not knowing the Holy Family had been warned, King Herod sent armed forces to kill all of the young children in Bethlehem. It is known as the Massacre of the Innocents. However, the Holy Family had indeed been warned, and they escaped to Memphis, Egypt. And that's how it came to pass that the three wise men made their way to Memphis in a 1996 Chevy Tahoe so they could witness the giant chrome pyramid known as the Memphis Convention Center in Memphis, Tennessee.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. The Lorraine Motel is now a civil rights museum. B.B. King defined the sound of Memphis blues music. It is preserved on Beale Street, also known as the B.B. King Highway. We are talking Highway 61. He is from there. He is of there. He is known as the King of the Blues. His music served as the inspiration and the roots for what would become rock and roll. Myrrh. Elvis Presley, born in Tupelo, Mississippi, became the king of rock and roll. He came to Memphis for the music. He lived there. His house in Memphis is a museum to generations. He had more gold records than anyone else. He has arguably been heard by more people than anyone else born in this hemisphere. Gold. These three kings of Memphis have changed the world by bridging the cultures of black and white. Elvis Presley imbibed the black roots music of B.B. King, which made it palatable for white audiences by turning it gold.
Deep
While Martin Luther
in
King
my heart,
used the power of the church
I
to knock
do
down the Jericho walls of
believe
segregation.
we shall overcome someday.
After warning the Holy Family, the Magi did not return to Jerusalem as instructed by Herod. Instead, they chose to live out the remainder of their days in exile. There are many stories about what happened to the Magi that December morning, but I know for a fact that they went from Memphis, Tennessee to Okemah, Oklahoma to visit the home of Woody Guthrie, into Madrid, New Mexico, into the Four Corners, and across the Hopi land. And as America passed in my rear view, reports around multiple wars flashed like mile markers amongst billboards advertising the holiday season, and I think of the slaughter of the innocents.
Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night, oh, holy night, oh, night divine.
And so it came to pass that the three wise men came westward from the Four Corners, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico, and across the painted desert, and beheld the bright neon star illuminating the sky high above the Tropicana Hotel and Casino. And this time there was room at the end.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help
When crossing the desert, I recommend taking refuge in a casino, not a manger. It is a cheap way to rest, and the luxurious hotel was only $19, and it came with a free buffet. The hotel even gave me a $5 credit card in which to gamble, so I figured, what the hell? And I went out to the car, and I got those quart-sized figurines, and I placed them on a bar stool. In front of a one-armed bandit, I inserted the card, and I pulled the handle. Elvis Presley was singing Wise Men Say over the Muse sound system. The stars roll round and stop. A chorus of Casio keyboards rain from the sky. Like a gift, I won gold. I won frankincense. I won myrrh. I won $19. The ring was paid for. I put the wise men back in the container, and they continued their voyage westward into the setting sun, across the land to the east, across Route 66, home. I had left home on October 25th and was on the road for 40 days and 40 nights. And as I returned home on the 40th night, I am grateful to all those that helped this weary traveler along the way this holiday season. May there always be room at the end.